think of fast moving consumer goods space, right? 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it was shelf space. Where am I in the big box retailers? What shelf space do I have? And over the last, it was certainly accelerated by COVID, but over the last 5 years, really, there has been a rise of digitally native direct to consumer brands who are disrupting, the traditional top 10 consumer packaged goods companies. And they have been able to scale quickly through something new called social commerce, right? We have clients that drive 40% of their revenue from people at 11 p.m. at night, flipping through Instagram and transacting. Like 5 years ago, we all thought Facebook and Instagram were ad platforms and Amazon was a marketplace. It turns out like Facebook is every bit as much a marketplace, right? It has become a commerce platform. And what has happened is that those brands have started to disrupt the P&Gs in the world, right? The SCJs of the world. And we're now seeing all of those. We have clients in the traditional consumer packaged goods space as well. We're trying to disrupt the disruptors, big ad budgets, taking out social commerce ads, and most importantly, starting to get data on their own customers, whereas they had traditionally sold through third-party retailers. And so they now have massive ad budgets out, pricing out some of those digitally native brands and gathering data on their own customers to be able to cross-sell and promote new products within their, giant brand portfolio. And so what has e-commerce helped, like a Procter & Gamble do? Well, it's become a test and learn organization, sell direct to consumer. Oh, you buy Pampers wipes, here are Pampers diapers. And if you have a kid using Pampers diapers, you probably need Bounty paper towels too, right? They weren't able to understand that about their consumer before, and now they can. And they could think about subscription. They could think about packaging. They can think about samples in an interesting way without having to worry about the shelf space that they have in a retailer. And so that, for the big box retailers has become, groundbreaking. So many of them now are focused on that direct to consumer model where 5 years ago, the idea for, one of those Fortune 1000 companies to like potentially piss off or, ruffle the feathers of their retail distributors, like it was unheard of. That wasn't something that you did 5 years ago,
And Dan, has this been consistent? Do you see differences, I should ask, between B2C and B2B clients in this regard?
For sure. B2B has certainly been slower to adapt to e-commerce traditionally. The ones that do tend to grow more quickly. I think what they have found is if they're focusing on the right things like SEO, like mitigating channel conflict, right? You want to pay your sales rep for a deal that closes online in their territory. It's a smart idea generally, right? So that there's no channel conflict. But what they're finding is that they can actually broaden their reach with a really good marketing and SEO strategy, right? So if I'm a B2B business and I've got 40 salespeople canvassing, let's call it 50 to make the math easy, canvassing all 50 states. Like there may be towns in those states that I, as a sales rep, aren't focused on just because population is not worth my time. But with great SEO, targeting merchants in those states, I now have a long tail way to sign up all of those customers that without e-commerce, I just wasn't going to reach them with my sales force, right? And so they're thinking creatively around how they can gain scale through e-commerce without every single time having to hire another rep for a new territory. So that's certainly, how the B2B clients are thinking about it in some ways.
Yeah,
and then they've never thought about like merchandising and promotion before, right? So we're seeing B2B businesses now all of a sudden create bundles and upsell and cross promote products in a way that wasn't happening before. Increasing AOV, increasing reorder. I learned that you're low on this product. You buy ink from me every single month. I know now that you're low on this product. Let me send you an email to pre-reorder that product, right? Or set up a subscription for a monthly recurring reorder. Those things are happening now, and they weren't happening, 4 or 5 years ago in the B2B space.